Okay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. I am one of your hosts, Murpho, aka Mike Murphy, and I am joined by
co-host DMurph, aka Dennis Murphy.
And we are two brothers who used to work at WWE who love wrestling and video games. So, this week, we are going to get into some Payback. Not any personal Payback, but the show Payback.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go over everything that happened. We're going to compare our predictions, see who gets the championship.
Dibs.
It's not how that works. It's not how the Force works. I know it's a day. Revenge of the 5th is today, but... Well, technically Revenge of the 6th, but whatever. It's Star Wars week. It's not how the Force works. References. Then we're going to go into our typical discussion of Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT. Then we got video game news. And in video game news, we got new games in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
The Video Game Hall of Fame, that is a thing. If you guys don't know, it is this is the 3rd year of it. We're also going to be breaking down some Minecraft news, some Overwatch news, as usual, surprise, surprise, and E3 news. We finally got some E3 news to start bringing out and breaking down and talking about E3, the biggest video game show of the year.
Yep.
So, let's start this discussion. WWE Payback.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, before we get into it really quick, we are at our first pay-per-view event in Universe Mode. For those who are curious, we are in Extreme Rules. So let's break down the matches. For those of you watching, and for those of you listening, you can watch us on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yep.
To see the matches play themselves out. And if you are also watching this live, you can listen to us on SoundCloud and iTunes.
Yeah.
First up, we've got the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Austin Aries versus Kevin Owens. Austin Aries called out KO after he lost an Intercontinental title match on Raw in the first week. And now they're going to be battling in a ladder. Then we've got the SmackDown Tag Team titles are on the line. The Usos challenge champion Club. Gallows and Anderson.
In a tag team Extreme Rules match.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got Bayley versus Sasha Banks in a tables match. Sasha Banks won the women's championship in I believe a one-on-one or fatal four-way match. And then the 3 losers, which included Bayley, Asuka, and Becky Lynch, had a battle in a triple threat to determine the number 1 contender. Bayley won that. Then we've got Ty Dillinger versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title. Ty Dillinger's been chasing that U.S. title from Dolph Ziggler. Failed to capture it on SmackDown, but it gets another chance tonight on Extreme Rules.
Yep, in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
So then we've got Brock Lesnar and John Cena. They've been duking it out for weeks now. They're going to be battling each other in, I believe, a last man standing match.
Yep, that's correct.
Then we are on to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match of Bray Wyatt versus AJ Styles.
In an Extreme Rules match.
And then the final match is an Extreme Rules match. Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Universal Championship. So I'm going to get this show started. And then I'm going to be playing the first match. The way we're going to do this is instead of playing 1 match each, we're going to play 2 matches each. And we're going to try to actually simulate the other 3 matches.
While we talk and everything.
Yeah, while we talk. And if it seems like it's taking too long, we're going to quick sim some of the matches that we're not going to be playing. So... let's get started, and we'll jump into Payback. I'll start by going over the results, and we have a thing going on the Super Grapple Bros podcast where whoever wins the predictions for a pay-per-view gets the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt that is sitting here on the windowsill and gets to hold it on their shoulder and lord it over the other one of us until the next pay-per-view or until they lose. Mm-hmm. The reason why it's on that windowsill is because we haven't crowned anybody yet, and we both tied in our predictions for Payback.
Yep.
In the event that one of us wins a championship and then there's a tie, championship advantage, champion stays champion. But we don't have a champion yet, so we're going to have to wait until Backlash to determine who's going to have that championship.
Yep.
I'm just going to whip out my handy-dandy notebook right here, and I'm going to break down for you guys who we each picked. In the kickoff, we both went with Gallows and Anderson over Enzo and Big Cass,
Who
lost, which we were both wrong on. Mm-hmm. Then the Cruiserweight title match, there was some trickery, but you predicted Neville to win. I predicted Aries. Aries won, even though Neville held on to the title. Aries gets the W in the record book, so that was one up on me. We both picked the Hardy Boys over Sheamus and Cesaro. That was right. I picked Samoa Joe to beat Rollins. You picked Rollins over Samoa Joe. You won that. We were then tied, and we stayed tied throughout the rest of the show because we picked the same people throughout the rest of the show. We were both wrong on Bayley versus Alexa. We were both wrong on Owens versus Jericho.
Yeah.
We were both right on Wyatt versus Orton, which that's a whole thing I can't wait to rant about later. And then we were both right about Strowman over Reigns.
Yep.
So let's start discussing things. What match do you want to talk about first?
I'll just quickly say that I didn't really watch any of the pre-show.
You didn't?
No.
Well, I got to catch that match because I wanted to make sure I watched it. It was okay. It was what it was, and they basically, I think they got like a I can't remember how Enzo and Cass won, but I think it was Enzo got a sneak victory roll or something like that. I mean, it's Felix, good. It keeps what's up, Felix? It keeps the tag team division on Raw interesting, and it gives the Gallows and Anderson something to do while the Hardy Boys are busy with Cesaro and Sheamus. And to be honest, like, when you think about it, Enzo and Cass kind of were the ones who needed the win more because they're the ones who are kind of drowning a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense. And then also on the pre-show there was the
Miz
TV thing where, typical thing, Miz comes out, interviews somebody, and basically that person insults Miz, and Balor actually brings that up, how eventually Miz's guest kicks the living crap out of Miz. Mm-hmm. In the end, that's how it ends. And he says, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." And he goes to walk off, and Miz is like, and because he says Miz isn't worth it, Miz goes like, "Oh, how dare you? How dare you say that? I am so worth it. Please come kick my ass." And so Balor's like, "Okay, you're going to join the Finn Balor kicked my ass club," and he kicks Finn Balor's ass, and he kicks Miz's ass.
Okay,
pretty much. So it was a thing for Finn Balor to do on the pay-per-view, pretty much.
Yeah. Keep him relevant.
Then we can move on to the main show. What was it? The United States title match was first?
Yeah, that started off the night, which was a
shocker.
Big surprise to me.
Everybody thought that Jericho was pretty much done after this show, which it still seems like he's done, which we'll get to that at SmackDown.
Yeah.
And we thought he was going to go off and tour, and this was going to be his last match, and he was going to lose, but no, they gave him the victory.
Yeah, he won, and he took the title back.
Which I'm okay with, I guess, because now that makes him a 2-time U.S. champion. And the finish was really neat. Mm-hmm. I like the way the match ended. They had Owens basically use the finger like he did at WrestleMania to make the save.
Finger of America.
And then Jericho got so pissed off that he literally just started destroying the hand. So that way, when Owens got put back in the walls of Jericho later in the match, his hand was so damaged he didn't even want to move it to try and reach for the ropes and everything.
Not to mention, made it difficult for him to hit the pop-up powerbomb.
Yeah. Yes, that was a good one too. So there was that. That was that real quick. That actually was a quick analysis.
Yeah,
of that match.
We'll
talk more about the Jericho Owens stuff in SmackDown.
Yeah, because more stuff developed over the week. So, and after that, there was the Cruiserweight title match of Neville versus Aries.
Happens to have this guy. Happen to have that guy, Austin Aries, in it, and the last match talked about has this guy.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Mm-hmm. I kind of thought they might do something like have TJP get involved in the match or something like that, but he didn't, and he just kind of cheated his way out of the match to keep the title, which I'm okay with. He's a heel doing heel things. Mm-hmm. Always good.
And it works. It fits with the storyline too, because Neville, if I remember, just barely escaped. Like, the whole thing is that Neville doesn't believe that anybody is on his level.
Yeah, no one's on the Neville level.
Yeah, nobody's on the Neville level in WWE in the Cruiserweight division. And Austin Aries has proven that he actually can get on that level. So in the last month or so, Neville's just been talking. And then when he gets in a match with Aries and realizes, oh my God, Aries is just as good as me. He's on my level. He could beat me. He has to pull off some heel... I'll say heel douchebaggery in order to win, such as like thumbing the eye at WrestleMania, and in this one, blatantly pulling the ref so that way he could get himself intentionally disqualified in order to hold on to the title.
Yeah.
So.
It was a good match overall.
Mm-hmm. That was actually the best wrestling match of the night, if you ask me. I think Neville and Aries have amazing chemistry, and they tore that crap up.
Yeah, they did.
I loved that match. That was hands down the best match. Best pure wrestling match. From a pure wrestling standpoint, not like entertainment standpoint, but from a pure in between the ropes, two guys battling it out. That was the best match of the night.
Yeah, it was very good. Glad that you could join us today, Felix, saying that he normally can't watch us live, and he's very happy to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Early stream today because I am... Oh, damn it.
You're going away for the weekend.
Because I'm going away for the weekend. I got invited by some friends to go to Atlantic City for an ice hockey tournament. So I had to be out early today. So, yeah.
There you go.
Early stream.
Mm-hmm. And then, see, this wants to work here.
What was the next match?
Next match after the Cruiserweight title match was the Raw Tag title match of the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus, which was another pretty good match. What's his name? Jeff Hardy, I believe, needs to see Dr. Isaac Yankem.
Yep.
Afterwards, lost
Cesaro went or Sheamus went and got a little too carried away.
Yeah, kind of hit him with a very hard boot to the mouth and kicked his tooth out. And then Cesaro kind of continued with that, kicking him in the face.
And if you watch the replay, that was brutal. Like,
yeah.
I would not be surprised. Ooh, right on the ladder. If Matt, what was it? Jeff Hardy who got that kick, right? That was Jeff, not Matt. If Jeff was concussed on that, because he hit him really hard, right square in the forehead.
Yeah, that he did. And then after the match was very good as well. And was kind of what you predicted would happen.
Yep, as I expected. The second they started shaking hands and doing that, and I'm like, if this program's gonna keep going, they can't do the whole heel face thing with Cesaro and Sheamus anymore. They've got to have basically Cesaro get fed up and basically say, okay, Sheamus, we'll go your route and we'll just beat the living hell out of them, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly. And
they beat the hell out of him
too.
Like they were brutal.
Like to Jeff into the post, that was very rough.
Yeah,
kind of hurt to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also the bro kick and beating of Matt in the ring, in which the thing that I was looking forward to that, which unfortunately did not happen, was I thought that was going to lead to the rumor over the weekend that WWE had gotten the rights to the broken gimmick, and I thought that might lead to, them getting assaulted, might lead to them being broken, especially since Matt afterwards started making a lot of references on Twitter to it. So I thought that's what was going to happen, but apparently that was not the case. But yeah, after that was the Raw Women's title match of Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, which stupid Amazon Echo. Shut off. Good. Bliss ended up winning the match, which I was not expecting, but I was happy with. I like Alexa Bliss, and I was very happy to see her hold the title, and now she's the first woman in WWE history to hold both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships.
Yeah, and a lot of people were pissed off at Alexa for winning that match, and like, while it wasn't exactly what I had imagined, I thought Bayley was going to hold on to it until Sasha came along. It's something to give Bayley to do, and she'll eventually win it back, I'm sure, to get into a rivalry with Sasha.
Yeah,
and that'll make her a 2-time women's champion. It makes things interesting, and it also gives Alexa a lot of heat to beat Bayley for her championship in her hometown.
Yeah.
So I was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I was too. Like I said, I'm also a fan of Alexa, so I was not expecting it. I felt a little bad for Bayley because this is another instance of what I said has been, in my opinion, an issue with WWE where they're constantly just changing the titles around rather frequently, especially the Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. I mean, Sasha Banks and Charlotte have been on the main roster for what, maybe a year, or a little over a year, and they've both held the Women's
almost 2
Championship.
Years now, like about a year and a half.
Yeah. Sasha's held it 3 times. Charlotte's held it, 5 times? Something ridiculous like that.
Far too many.
Yeah. So, this happened
not
with
that Charlotte's
Bayley
not good.
Upsetting,
it's
but...
just a lot for somebody who's been in the WWE so short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a similar idea to if, when Kevin Owens came up to the main roster. He went and faced John Cena right away, but that's saying, he came up to the main roster and then became WWE champion 3 times in a year. That just... it's something that's completely unnecessary. You don't need to have the title changing over that often.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Alexa. I like the way they did it. I'm happy to see her as champion. Like I said, makes her just before Charlotte could, apparently, making her the first ever Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. And got some good heat on her, and I think she's doing great, so I'm excited to see where they go from here with Alexa as champion and Bayley trying to chase her for it.
Yes,
Shut up, Amazon Echo.
You gotta stop doing that. You gotta know better, man. Oh, God.
I gotta know better, man.
Ooh, man, that was close.
Grab him.
How do I...
Grapple him. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
See?
He almost won that.
You're welcome.
God damn it, now I have that rock song from Moana in my head.
It's a good song.
Oh, it's okay, you're welcome.
Quick side note, I'm actually kind of upset that Rock wasn't one of the musical guests for WrestleMania singing that song.
That would have been hilarious.
I agree. That would have been great if he just came out and just started blasting Moana. But, whatever.
What the hell are Ares' signatures, by the way?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing one might be the top rope elbow to someone who's seated.
Oh, crap. Now he's going to set up the ladder and win. Or not. Or maybe he's going to pop a powerbomb me.
Next thing that happened was the match between Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good match. They did a little bit of targeting of the knee. The one thing that they're doing, though, that's kind of annoying me a little bit is with Seth's new finisher, where he's literally only done it once.
The knee?
Yeah, but they've been, like I said, he's done it once, and they've been teasing that, him going to do the move. And it's no one really...
Well, that's the match right there.
Knows about the move too much, so... I don't know.
Nope, I failed to get Ares to win this because I wanted a cool finish.
Well, way to mess up.
Oh, well.
But yeah, it was a good match overall. I'm excited to see where they go from here. Ooh, you might actually...
Damn.
Never mind. You had a chance, possibly, but oh well.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Continues.
And, I don't know, it wasn't a necessarily memorable match. It showed, what's his name? Samoa Joe's dominance. Mm-hmm. Showed that Seth Rollins can overcome a lot. Pretty good match overall.
Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't as good as I was expecting a Rollins versus Samoa Joe match to be.
Yeah, like I said, nothing memorable, but it's kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but as we saw on Monday Night Raw, it looks like that rivalry is going to continue.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's just...
So, hopefully the next match will be good.
Yeah.
No, this is going to take forever.
Yeah,
it's a tornado. So, Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I thought it was all right. Wasn't, like I said, wasn't anything too memorable, but both of them showed their strength and everything, and I'm excited to see them do more and more in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. I did enjoy the finish of the match where it looked like Joe was about to win, and then Rollins basically had to counter his way into tricky pins.
Yeah, got him in a fireman's carry rollover into a pin, and just happened to get the win that way. It was very nice that they did that. Mm-hmm. But next, judging by what you had said before, gives me an interesting feeling as to how this conversation is going to go. The next match, which technically started before the last match, is the House of Horrors match between Orton and Wyatt.
Now here,
because I just want to point out one thing quickly. I have mixed opinions of it, where the first half I really liked. The second half I didn't like.
See, I agree with you there.
Okay.
Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people think, oh, he's going to rant about how horrible the House of Horrors things was. And a lot of people are down on it. But you know what? A lot of people... You know what's weird about the wrestling community? A lot of the wrestling community, they talk about how great the Attitude Era was and how we have to bring back the Attitude Era. And then they crap on the House of Horrors. The House of Horrors was a match that would have totally, like, it had Attitude Era all over it.
Yeah,
written all over it with the way it was done.
That had, like, a match between, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker written all over
or
it.
Kane or something like that. Yeah, or like...
Or Undertaker would, like, say something to Stone Cold and he'd be like, I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's like... I didn't mind it for what it was. I thought it was cool. It was interesting. It was something different.
Yeah.
What bothered me was the fact that the match had to finish in the ring.
I mean, that didn't bother me as much. Like, at first I was like, that's kind of annoying, but the main thing that bothered me is how exactly the match finished. Because even if they did the whole thing of, you know, Orton just, as he did, showing up behind Wyatt in the ring all of a sudden and them continuing the match, even if they did that and it ended with a clean win, I would have been fine with that because I would have been like, oh, that's a nice little surprise. And then we get a little bit extra of them having this mayhem going on in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But then they had to get freaking Jinder Mahal and not the Bollywood boys. They're not the Bollywood boys. You know the guys who were in the Cruiserweight tournament who they kept saying their names over and over again of Harv and Gurv Sira? And now they're the Singh brothers.
Jinder Mahal called them Harv and Gurv Sira?
No, when they first appeared with them, they just said the Singh brothers, and I was like, no. They're the Siras, but okay.
No, when they first appeared to jump, I believe, what was it, Sami Zayn or the people in the Fatal 4-Way, and then when they appeared like the week after on SmackDown, they were calling them the Bollywood boys.
Yeah,
Harv and Gurv Sira. It's too late. You can't change their names after you've already introduced them on Raw.
Not to mention, you've already had this big tournament that you kept advertising and had them in and saying their names over and over again, and had this in-depth thing with both of them talking about their blind grandfather and everything. And all of a sudden it's, oh, by the way, just forget that. They're not they're the Singh brothers, and I forget what their first names even are.
They gave them super, super, like, Indian, Middle Eastern names, too, if I remember. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of them is actually like Sira Singh or something ridiculous like that.
It's Samir Singh.
That's it. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I tried. I tried last week to be open minded about the whole Jinder Mahal thing, but after what happened like this week and then on SmackDown, I freaking hate it.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Well, here's the thing.
It's so annoying.
I'm not giving Jinder Mahal a chance, but the Bollywood boys I was giving a chance, and now I don't even know about that. But
well,
I do want to get back to the beginning of that match, though.
Well, just real quick, I just want to, while we're on the subject, Bray Wyatt needed this win.
He did.
And they gave it to him. But they tainted it. The win doesn't mean anything now because Bray Wyatt, who's supposed to be this supernatural force, this new face of fear who can destroy, who is supposed to be an eater of worlds, dropped a fridge on Randy Orton. Randy Orton survived and would have beaten him if it wasn't for the fact that, some 2-bit number one contender and
his cronies
interfered.
Exactly.
And it's not a fridge that does him in. It's Jinder Mahal hitting him with a title belt.
Yeah, which... it just reminds you of
Bray
Wyatt's first match in WWE, which is against Kane, in which they could have had him win clean since it was an Inferno match, but no, they still had to somehow get Rowan and Harper involved. And it's just another instance of he gets a win over a big name, but it's a tainted win, and they can never give him a good, clean win over someone.
I don't ever, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember in the New Era or in the Attitude Era or any era, The Undertaker, when he was in desperate need of a win, basically stealing a win like a coward.
He may have done that like once or twice or whatever with like Viscera or something when he had the Ministry of Darkness, but other than that. But that was also because of storyline, and it also wasn't nearly as bad as it was with this, where he could have still potentially won without them, but with this, it was clear where he wouldn't have won without them.
And by that point, The Undertaker had already established himself as this dominant force who could beat just about anybody.
Exactly.
Bray Wyatt, they try to keep selling us on the fact that he's this unstoppable, dominant force, and then he keeps losing in these rivalries.
Exactly.
Like I said before, the only significant rivalry he has really won is against Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
That's it. And he hasn't won anything since.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Felix agrees with us on this. It was just... House of Horrors, the first part.
I loved it.
It was great.
I loved it.
Had a really B-movie, horror movie feel. Really felt like something out of the Attitude Era.
I really liked just how down and dirty and gritty it got. Like, Bray Wyatt throwing Orton onto an end table where he, like, smashes through a lamp, and then Orton throwing a lamp at Orton and it shattering on him, and... Wyatt throwing Orton through a wall. It was just
I thought
really
that was great. It was
I thought
creative.
It was good for that rivalry where it was just, all right, we've wrestled before, now we're just going to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, and it really made it feel like it was the culmination of this bitter rivalry.
Yeah, but then the thing happened to them.
Yeah, and it's just... Like, does Randy Orton have some sort of supernatural abilities to have a fridge dropped on him and then magically appear behind Bray Wyatt?
Well,
like,
I mean...
was he... did he shrug off that massive fridge falling on him and then run back to the limo and then take the place of the driver before Bray Wyatt stumbled there? Like...
To be fair, as someone who, in his career, works with a lot of different refrigeration equipment, when that whole thing happened, I was like, oh, he dropped a fridge. I mean, when you get hit with just the top part of it, it doesn't actually hurt that bad. I mean, he could probably just shrug it off, and they start making it a big deal. But then again, like I said, that's because I deal with that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah, well.
But, yeah, I mean, it is the fact that they kept playing it up, and then he showed back up, which, like I said, I wouldn't have minded so much if Wyatt still got a clean win, but the fact that they did all that.
The thing that sucks is that, like, I saw it coming, too. The moment, like, Bray started walking back, I'm like, they're not going to give this to Bray. They're not going to give this to Bray over Randy Orton. He's gonna show back up. And the second he was doing his entrance, I'm like... The second the lights come up, Randy Orton's going to be behind him. Sure enough, there it was.
I thought that was going to happen. But like I said, I was also hoping that they would do something like when that did happen, that they would have a little bit more of a match with like steel chairs, maybe a ring bell, stuff like that. And Wyatt would somehow pull it out against Orton, but not with... I was hoping that...
No, it was pretty much Randy Orton beats the crap out of Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt needs to be saved by frickin' Jinder Mahal.
Exactly. With that... stupid finisher of his. I can't get over how bad
I can't remember what is it.
It's he gets him in like the Cobra Clutch or $1 Million Dream or whatever, and then just lifts him up and slams him down.
I don't really hate it as much as you do, but...
Well, it's not that I don't like the move, it's that I don't like the way he executes it, because it just looks like a regular move. Like a lot of other people, when they do their finisher, it looks like it's a big, intense, tough move. But in that situation, it looks like it's just any other move in his arsenal, so it doesn't really look particularly devastating. And correct me if I'm wrong, but normally when someone hits with a finisher, you want it to look like that just destroyed the other person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what really bothers me about it.
But look at John Cena. The attitude adjustment is basically just a fireman's carry slam.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, that's not really that devastating maneuver.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Taking a while on that.
So let's breathe. Breathe for a second from what's going on with Bray Wyatt.
Yinder.
As when we get to Raw, we'll see that he's transitioning from one rivalry that he can't possibly win to another.
Yeah. This is interesting.
Let's get to the main event of Payback.
Strowman versus Roman Reigns,
which was pretty good. It did what it needed to do. It storyline wise, it played out exactly how I thought it was going to be. Roman was still beat up from the assault by Strowman. The injuries affected him, and as a result, Strowman was able to take advantage and win.
Yeah,
and I liked. There were a couple things I really liked. In addition to the fact that when Strowman had the advantage on Reigns, he was really trying to like make it look like he was like taking no mercy and throwing him around like a rag doll. Well, what happened?
New tag team champions.
New tag champs. The Usos get a sneak pinfall?
More or less. One of the Usos hit Anderson with the Samoan splash. Or Superfly splash, whatever they're referring to it as. And then they kind of switched, and the other Uso got the pinfall.
Oh, not bad. So, it was really good from a standpoint of making Strowman look good.
It went longer than I thought it would.
Yeah. And other things I liked, they gave Strowman the rub of kicking out of the spear.
Yeah.
Which, when he hit that spear, I was like, oh, son of a bitch, it's over. Because nobody kicks out of Reigns' spear, but they gave it to Strowman.
Yeah.
Which shows how highly they think of Strowman, which is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing is that I liked how when Roman kicked out of his finisher, Strowman was like, okay, try to do that again, and just picked him up and did it right back to him. Yeah. And won the match.
Usos tag team champions again.
And then I don't know if you saw, but after the show, I liked
they did the whole thing with Strowman going to attack Reigns again.
Yeah, which was cool, but also I didn't like because I legitimately thought like Reigns sold the beating really well to the point to where, like I don't know if there was a blood capsule in his mouth or whatnot.
I think it was because of the fact that it was a good amount of blood at first, and then it just kind of stopped.
Yeah, because I was like, he had me worried the way he was selling that he was actually had some internal injuries.
Yeah, I thought so.
And
too.
They were selling it really, really well, and they're showing off the air. And I'm like, oh my god, I think Strowman actually really hurt, Roman.
Mm-hmm. So what's this next?
What's next is the tables match, which we will be simming. So
okay, regular sim.
Yeah, regular sim. We're doing pretty well.
Okay. But yeah, that was Payback.
Well, actually, I just wanted to finish my point. He sold it really well, but then the post-show stuff kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
Because I was not that it wasn't cool. I kind of liked the fact that Strowman was still going after him and everything, but I so honestly believe that Reigns might actually be legitimately hurt. And then as soon as Strowman went after attacking him, I was like, oh, if he was really that messed up and that hurt, they would have called that off. They wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, now I know that Roman's okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay, that's Payback. So we're moving on to Raw. I'll let you kick off Raw.
All right. Raw started off with something that I thoroughly enjoyed, which was a nice promo from Bliss, so the Amazon Echo doesn't go off, where she had the rest of the Raw Women's Division out in the ring and was cutting a promo, and all of them going to each and every one of them, saying something about them. My favorite of which was with Nia Jax, where because of Sasha, she accidentally bumped into her and just looked at her like, you're great. All these women here wish they had the kind of athletic ability that you possess. Yeah, you're great. I can't wait to tag with you later tonight. I'll see you then.
Don't squash me, please.
Yeah.
I'm tiny, you're huge.
And led to that tag match, which the promo was really good. Bliss... Bliss really shined in that. I think she's great on the microphone, much better than I thought she would be.
She is so good as a heel. If you watch her, you really you noticed it the second she teamed up with Blake and Murphy in NXT.
Yeah, which is something that I really enjoyed. And
she's just been able to continue to excel at that ever since. Not that she's bad in between the ropes. She's a really good wrestler too, but she is.
But her persona
godly
as
on
a
the
face was not that good. And then
it was horrible. But
flipped her to a heel, she started doing great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was cool, and then it broke down into a fight.
6-woman tag match.
Yep.
Of who was it? It was Bliss, Nia Jax, and Alicia Fox versus Sasha, Bayley, and Dana Brooke. I think. It was an 8. It was an 8 women, I think.
Yeah.
They had
Emma and Dana Brooke were on opposite sides, and Emma, I think she refused to get involved with Dana when they were both in the ring at the same time.
Something like that. And who was the other one on their team? The one team was Alexa, Bliss. Shut up, Amazon Echo. Nia Jax, Emma, and who was the other one? Alicia Fox. And on the other side, it was Bayley, Sasha, Mickie James, and Dana Brooke. And it was a decent enough match. Everyone got to showcase their stuff. Nia, once again, was just dominant when she was in the ring, as always, which I always enjoy.
It was interesting. Did Mickie James turn face that I didn't know of? Because in the promo, her and Alexa Bliss seemed to be okay with each other, and it was just really odd to see them on opposite sides of the ring.
No, because, I mean, Bliss was kind of talking down about Mickie James, where she was talking about how, like, oh, I loved you when I was growing up, watching you on TV, and then was more or less like about, like, you're so lucky that I brought you in. Yeah, that's true. Felix, sorry, about Alexa and Nia, but god damn it, Amazon Echo. I'm really excited for them to eventually do something between Bliss and Nia, which I think they might do. I think Bayley's going to be on the hunt for a little while.
Up, it's over. Yeah. I'm sorry, but in the game, Bayley and Sasha were basically like exchanging, like taking the table away from one another for a good solid minute. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I continue? I didn't mean
I was just saying, like, I hope to see something between Alexa and between Bliss and Nia Jax at some point. I think Bliss might retain against Bayley when she gets her rematch, and Bayley might get a rematch, another title shot down the road.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that topic, Felix, when we get to it.
It was a good match overall. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what they do with Bliss from here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is they'll have Bliss and Bayley battle, and Bayley will win. Probably somehow over Sasha, like we'll get like number one contention for something over Sasha Banks, or like Sasha will feel like she deserves it, and Bayley gets it, and like
then Sasha will turn.
And then Sasha will win, and then Sasha will turn, and Sasha will be like, oh, you know, you've been pampered, you've been granted all these abilities, I've helped you, all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure Bayley's gonna win it back, and then we're gonna get Bayley Sasha, and then after that the wealth will probably get spread about, probably back to Alexa, back to Nia, and all the other.
Yeah,
ladies.
well, not back to Nia, because as far as I can remember,
I meant like to Nia back to Alexa.
Yeah. Yeah. After that was Gallows versus Amore, which was pretty much as you would expect it to be, where it was basically Gallows dominating Enzo most of the match, Enzo getting some things in here and there, and then Gallows getting the win over Enzo.
Yeah, it was its thing. It just furthered the plot for those two. Not much really to talk about.
Short, sweet, got the job done. And then after that, there was a match that I thoroughly enjoyed. The 6-man tag team match between the cruiserweights of Gentleman Jack Gallagher, Rich Swann, and Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese, Noam Dar, and The Brian Kendrick. Who's not going by The Brian Kendrick, but I will constantly refer to him as that.
Yeah, the cruiserweights, they're all good wrestlers, and they all put a lot of work in. The only thing that sucks for them is that they're like...
205 Live isn't that good.
Well, 205 Live, we've talked about, it's their placement. It's like after SmackDown, like...
It's their placement, and I think it's also the storylines, because one of the storylines going on right now is, Noam Dar stole Alicia Fox from Cedric Alexander, who apparently were dating. And then Rich Swann stole Alicia Fox from Noam Dar, and then he dumped her. And now Alicia Fox is back with Noam Dar, and it's just like, we don't care. It's a bad storyline.
That's a horrible storyline. A, because those whole like exchanging lover storylines were done to begin with, and B, it makes Alicia Fox, who's a really good wrestler and has really good personality, look like the 205 Live bicycle.
Exactly.
And that's
getting
horrible.
A ride on Alicia today.
It's just not right.
Yeah, she deserves better than that. Women are people, not things, WWE. Get with the program.
Yeah, they're getting with it. They're with it.
They're superstars instead of divas.
It's just it's almost like they're like, we don't know what to do with Alicia, so let's just put her on 205 Live and everybody can fight for her affection. And it's like, no, just make better use of her on Raw.
Yeah, make better matches and such.
Or come up with better storylines for the cruiserweights to get involved in.
Yes, the cruiserweights.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good match. After that was the Cesaro and Sheamus promo on the Hardys and the crowd and everything, which was good.
They said what was expected. And then the Hardy Boys came out, and everybody was doing the delete chant, so they did the delete motion and they charged the ring and whatnot. It's weird because I was hoping and expecting for the Hardys to basically kick it into high gear by switching into directly into the delete gimmick because
that's what I was hoping for.
Because I thought WWE had purchased the rights, but and if they hadn't purchased the rights, they wouldn't be blatantly doing the delete chants because that would be a lawsuit with Impact Wrestling.
Well, with them doing the delete thing, it would be, but if the crowd does it on their own, they can't really be sued for a crowd interaction.
But they did the delete motion and
maybe
said
they're
delete
trying
on
to
the
do
ramp.
a slow burn. I'm thinking they might do something where like Cesaro and Sheamus
maybe
are gonna
win
get
the
another
titles.
match. Well, I don't know if they'll win the titles, but they'll get another match, and like maybe like the week before the pay-per-view, they'll go and like ambush them and like destroy them. And then that'll cause them to be broken. You'll see like cryptic messages on Twitter and blah, blah, blah. And then like they'll come at the pay-per-view.
Ooh,
there you go.
Sasha, what a retain right there. Head scissors out of nowhere, flips Bayley through the table.
Yeah. But maybe they'll do that and they'll come out as broken then, and they'll do like a little like vignette right before they come out. Which would be very nice.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like Cesaro and Sheamus just beat the hell out of them. Or maybe it's just Cesaro and Sheamus will actually win the titles, and that's what will cause them to kick it into high gear. And it's like, you guys went to the next level, now we have to. And there's a finish right there.
Nice. I still think that I would not like to see that happen because, once again, I would like to see the titles not constantly changing hands, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. I mean, the Hardys will have held it for 2 months, so...
Yeah. But still, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's nowhere near a long title run. But whatever. Next thing after that was a very short and sweet match between Apollo Crews and Heath Slater, which I enjoyed because I like Heath Slater, I like Apollo Crews, and they're once again doing better with this whole what's it called?
Ooh, I don't know why that's showing up. Go away.
They're getting better and better with the whole storyline between Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews, where they're improving it a little bit.
Yeah, it was like before the match, Apollo was talking and BSing with
Slater
with Slater and Rhino,
because he's gonna have a kid on the way, and Slater has apparently 7.
He's got kids. I don't know why I broke into a half British accent there, but
yeah.
I don't know. And I liked how Titus was like, no, that's the enemy. You can't be fraternizing with the enemy. You got to take advice from me.
Yeah, you have any questions about kids, you come to me. Which, actually, quick side note, my place of work, when I was there yesterday, I happened to notice we have these advertisement signs all over the place. And one of them just happened to be a random advertisement of WWE superstar Titus O'Neil with his sons.
I think, yeah, because apparently he's like father of the year. He's like really good with his kids.
But I hadn't noticed it until yesterday, and I was like, it's kind of weird that I happened to notice that in the week when he's yelling at Apollo Crews about asking him for parenting advice.
Yeah. And one of the match itself did its thing. Apollo won. But one of the things that I really liked was when Titus brought in Apollo to do their little celebratory thing and do their celebratory selfie. Rhino got behind them and
photobombed it, and Titus was not happy about that.
That was good.
Yeah, nice, short, sweet. Did what it needed to. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. And then after that was the promo where Kurt Angle came out and was talking, and then Wyatt interrupted him and basically told him, are you on my side? Or are you with me, or are you in my way? And Angle was like, I'm here because this is my show, so I'm going to do things in regards to my show. And Wyatt was like, this may be your show, but you're in my world. Yeah. So.
It was basically more, I am Bray Wyatt, I'm boogity boogity boogity, but I just nearly lost a match to Randy Orton after dropping a fridge on him and needed the help of a guy who before last month was known as a forever jobber in order to finally win a match and a payoff rivalry bout.
Yeah. But I mean, one thing that they did with it that I really liked is one of the first things that happened when Wyatt came in the ring is he actually shook Kurt Angle's hand. And it was like a nice little like sign of respect, because a lot of times with these things, people will just come in the ring and just start talking with each other. But he actually was like, I don't believe we've actually been introduced, and went to shake his hand and everything. I thought was nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like, if Wyatt had won his match with Randy Orton, not the way he did, like more of a I don't want to say exactly clean manner, because dropping a fridge on somebody isn't exactly clean.
Yeah, but it's
like,
better than,
if he had won by like hook or by crook on his own, it would have been okay. But like, he didn't.
Yeah.
And he needed the help of other people who weren't even involved, and he capitalized kind of like a coward. And that's not somebody with his character should do, and it took away from the impact of me taking that promo seriously.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I hope they start doing more and better things with Wyatt.
Me too. And then we had Austin Aries versus TJP.
Good match.
Yep, good stuff. Felix asked if we liked TJP. I like TJP. I am jealous of TJP because I think he's got probably the best entrance music in all of WWE.
Yeah.
And his shirt is sick too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I still, as funny as this is, I was unhappy. Not like pissed off or anything, but just like a little unhappy when he won the Cruiserweight Classic.
Really?
Yeah, but that's because like every person he beat on the way up, like, except for the first round, every match after the first round, everyone he beat, I was like, oh, well, I would have preferred to see that other person win.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he beat, was it he who beat Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, I think it was him who beat Gargano, and then he also beat, like, Kota Ibushi and stuff.
Yeah, well, that was because Kota didn't want to sign, so.
Yeah.
And they wanted to give the person the Cruiserweight Championship, so.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I do too, it's just, beggars can't be choosers.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good match, and Aries, of course, right man won. Aries won to keep his momentum going, and then TJP did some heelish stuff so that way he could still look good and be heely and all that fun stuff, attacking the knee. And now with the attack on the knee and the knee bar and everything, that gives Neville an opening and a reason to be more arrogant, because Aries might have a bum knee. And it leads to potentially psychology in their third matchup against one another.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it was cool. Then the main event, which was part of a promo earlier, which we didn't talk about, but we can talk about that now, was an Intercontinental title #1 contendership match between Finn Balor, The Miz, and Seth Rollins. This came about because Seth Rollins came down and said that, he beat Samoa Joe, so we wanted a crack at the champ. He wanted to take on Brock Lesnar because he had been to Suplex City and he ain't afraid to go back.
Yeah.
Then Balor came out and said, he never won the Universal. He never got his chance.
He never lost the title.
Yeah, he never lost the title, and he also never got his match for it after losing it when he came back. And he's not afraid of Lesnar either, so he came out. Then Ambrose came out and said, Lesnar isn't here. So I'm holding the #1 singles championship right now, or the #1 championship on Raw. So where are my contenders? Why don't you guys try and take me on? Then Miz came out and he's like, who do you think you are? Say like, I'm the one who made the Intercontinental Championship great, not you. And like, I should deserve a shot over these two. And so they were like, okay, triple threat match.
Yeah.
Wah. Which it's kind of like, and it's like, cool, Balor and Rollins are in this, but do they really want to be in this? Because they were talking about how bad they want the Universal Championship.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing that kind of bothered me is, we're talking about how we want to go after Brock Lesnar specifically and for this title specifically. Well, how about the Intercontinental Championship? Well, that's not what I asked for, but okay, I guess.
And this match pretty much happened exactly how I thought it was going to happen. Miz pretty much gets his ass kicked for a while. Then you have your back and forth. And it looks good. Miz actually did really, really well against guys the caliber of like Balor and Rollins, and Miz showed that, he can still go. Like, Miz has been great on the mic, but, there's been that talk with the whole Daniel Bryan thing about, like, his wrestling style, about how he wrestles very safe, and how he doesn't do too many ridiculous out there stuff, but he proved in this match that he could do that if he wants to.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest spots I actually liked was when Balor drop kicked Rollins into a DDT on the Miz.
Yeah, that was
awesome. Really cool.
That match in general was really good.
Mm-hmm. Really, really good match. But like I said, it ended exactly how I thought it was going to. Joe's not done with Rollins, came out and decimated Rollins. And then, as everybody assumed, Balor will be in a rivalry now with Bray Wyatt, as Bray Wyatt came out, attacked Balor, basically literally like boogity-boogitied into the ring, Sister Abigail Balor, and then boogity-boogitied out of the ring.
Yeah.
And basically Miz came in, and this is where there's a difference between Bray Wyatt's character and Miz's character. Bray Wyatt is not supposed to be somebody who capitalizes on, like, any opportunity he gets at the expense of other people. He's the kind of person who's supposed to just use his supernatural ability and power to just overpower and beat people on his own.
Yeah.
Miz, however, is the kind of character who is perfectly fine with taking a win however it comes.
Yeah. And
he capitalizes and pins Balor, and that fits Miz's character perfectly. And now we've got Miz versus Ambrose set up for the championship. We now have Wyatt versus Balor established, and we know that Rollins and Joe are going to keep going, which I hope maybe Joe will finally get a win over Rollins now. And yeah, Ambrose and Miz are great together. I like the promos they have together, so that's going to be a pretty interesting Intercontinental Championship rivalry.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker on the outside. It's a Falls Count Anywhere match. Is Ty Dillinger finally going to win the championship?
Let's see.
I don't know. Ziggler might have resiliency. He's got a finisher. Yep, that resiliency though. All right, so that was all for Raw. And let's switch over to SmackDown Live, which these two guys who are battling right now, Ziggler and Dillinger, are on. It started off with Shane McMahon introducing Chris Jericho as the newest member of SmackDown, per the terms of the United States title match. Excuse me. Then AJ Styles came out and said, welcome to the show, but this is the house that AJ Styles built, now the number one contender for the U.S. title, so good luck. Shane also announced before AJ, we have a new champion. Ty Dillinger has won the United States Championship, finally, after a month of pursuit. But back to SmackDown Live. Shane announced before AJ came out, if I'm remembering correctly, that there would be a rematch for the U.S. title in the main event of Kevin Owens versus Jericho.
Kevin Owens with his mandatory rematch.
Yeah, so when AJ came out, AJ said, just so you know, this is my house, and I'm the number one contender, so you got to deal with me, my old friend and enemy, if you can survive Kevin Owens tonight. And then Kevin Owens came out, and he was like, I'm the new face of America, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. I'm going to beat you up, Jericho, and AJ, you're next. And he said something to insult AJ, so AJ came after them, and the two of them brawled.
Making AJ banned from ringside in the main event.
Mm-hmm. And then we moved on from that, which that was good. That did what it was supposed to do. Yeah. Really, nothing. AJ's great on the mic. All those guys are good on the mic. Nothing to say negatively about that. Then we had actually the show from WWE.com. We also saw Jinder Mahal lose hold of the World Heavyweight Championship. Shane stepped in and took it from him while Jinder Mahal was posing in photography with the title, which was a thing. Really didn't show any personality of Jinder at all. It was just him being like, take this shot. I look good like this. How about this? How about this? I'm Shane McMahon. I'm taking this over.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jinder, we had Jinder Mahal versus Sami Zayn, which, god damn it, Sami Zayn lost that, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
So, yeah.
Loses to Jinder Mahal again. As we move on to a sim of Lesnar versus
Cena.
Mr.
Me.
This is the last man standing match.
Zayn's good.
And again, the Siras, not the Sings, the Siras get involved.
Well, now they're being referred to as the Sings.
They're the Siras.
Mm-hmm.
Sings. They got involved. Just why?
Why can't they just have them legitimate contenders to a tag title or something?
Well, no. My main point. Why did you move Sami Zayn to SmackDown if you're just gonna treat him as a stepping stone, just like you did on Raw?
If I had to take a guess, I have a feeling he's eventually gonna start going after the U.S. title.
I guess, but like Christ.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's different between Sami Zayn on Raw and Sami Zayn on SmackDown is on Raw, he'd go, talk with the commissioner, get interrupted. You guys are having a match. Sami Zayn would win. It's Sami Zayn has an issue with someone. We'll have a match. Sami Zayn loses. Yeah. It's like the same formula, except they just change the end of the matches.
Yeah. And again, I already spoke at length about Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, we don't need to waste any more time on him.
Yeah.
I'll just point this out. It's at a point where, honestly, if he ends up winning the title at Backlash...
He won't, but it's just...
He won't, but if they make the dumb mistake of actually going through that, if anyone from WWE is listening right now, you can let them know that you got at least one fan where if that happens, I'm not going to be talking about SmackDown Live anymore, because I'm probably just going to stop watching SmackDown until I see that he loses the title.
And I really don't want to carry the SmackDown conversation on this podcast alone.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't do that. Please.
Just be like, oh, you got to talk about SmackDown? All right, let me just go get my earbuds.
Then we move on to another Ty Dillinger beating up a low-card guy to help build him up for
That was
US
very
title
interesting,
contention.
though.
How so?
Because they started doing a brand new thing with Aiden English. Did you see it at all?
No, this is the second week. They started doing it last week or 2 weeks ago.
I don't remember
They brought back him
all.
as the drama king, where he starts singing in the ring beforehand. A couple weeks ago, he had a match where he lost.
All right.
Where he lost and he did that. And it's merely in response to losing Simon Gotch and the Vaudevillains being no more. And it sucks because, to be honest, I like Aiden English.
So do I.
But that Drama King gimmick is awful. I hate it. It was bad in NXT. It couldn't work in NXT, and I don't think it's going to work here.
They could make it somewhat work if they didn't do things like, oh, he has a match and he lost. All right, he's just going to start crying now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so much like the typical idea of like Drama King and Drama Queen, if it was like legitimately like, oh, well, he's just really into drama, like singing and plays and things like that, and that was the basis of a character and not just like freaking out over
that was
everything.
his NXT thing too.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like if they did it the right way, it could potentially work. Because, I mean, some people didn't think that the whole thing with, like, The Genius and, like, Damian Sandow with, like, their original gimmicks, I didn't think that would necessarily work. And ended up working out at least somewhat with both of them, so.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes, but I've always seen that character as Aiden English is a great superstar. He also, has great family lineage because he's Eddie Guerrero's son-in-law. Eddie and Vicky Guerrero's son-in-law. Mm-hmm. But, like, the moment Simon Gotch got released, I was like, Aiden English is done. Like, what is he going to do? Like, he's going to go back to this Drama King
Unless they somehow do something like reinventing his character somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, it's too soon to say. It's just that was just a gut feeling that I had, and I don't want to write him off because I do like him.
I like him a lot.
I'm pulling for him, and I hope they find something, and that something in this character change takes off. Yeah. It was entertaining, though, to see after the match, to see the post-match thing of Jericho putting him on the list for crying.
You know what happens when you cry in the WWE?
You just made the list.
Oh, another thing I'm going to bring up quickly that we forgot to talk about on Raw.
What's that?
Elias Sampson yet again.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. I don't really like Elias Sampson's
any Pearl Jam?
Yeah. I also liked in that promo, which that was part of the show also. Dean Ambrose was just walking up to people and interviewing them out of nowhere.
Yeah, the people who are going to be in the match, yeah.
And I liked I liked that with Elias Samson, which they're making Elias Samson entertaining, which is good because Elias Samson, he looks like he's a good wrestler, and his gimmick is interesting. It's just with NXT, I think it was hard to sustain. Yeah. And just having him actually literally be a drifter by drifting through scenes is cool and funny and entertaining. Yeah. But another cool part about that promo before we move back to SmackDown is I loved when Ambrose was like, I got a question for you. What is with you? Yeah. You've got you're too chiseled. I think I see a vein there. Eat it carb for God's sakes, and gives him a donut.
Yeah, I love that.
Anyway, back over to SmackDown. We move on from the Dylan Jury and English stuff to Carmella and Natalya battled against
Naomi and Charlotte.
Oh yeah, Carmella and Natalya and Charlotte
It was initially a handicap match, and then Charlotte, after the three members of the welcoming committee, as they're being called,
welcomed
Charlotte, they attacked her,
which is interesting because they're a welcoming committee for Charlotte, I guess, but Tamina is also new.
Yeah, she's new, and then they targeted the women's champion.
Yeah, and then Naomi isn't new, but I mean, the stable's cool. The name is just weird.
The name is weird.
They were also trying to court Becky Lynch to their side earlier on in the night. Mm-hmm. And then
that's one thing I want to point out quickly that they did in a promo with her that I didn't like was the fact that they had Natalya of all people, talking with Becky Lynch, talking about how, Charlotte has stabbed Becky in the back.
You can trust me. I haven't been deceitful at all in the last 12 months.
We only had, few month-long rivalry about me stabbing you in the back and attacking you and everything.
And I totally didn't completely deceive, betray, and stab Nikki Bella in the back 6 months ago. That never happened. Don't think about that. But the match was cool. And then
Becky Lynch.
It was really well. Becky came out afterwards. Looked like she was gonna shake everybody's hand, and then took shots, and then the numbers game caught up on her. So, like I said, like we thought last week, Becky was gonna fall on the side of Charlotte and Naomi, and we'll get a 3-on-3 rivalry going.
It's one thing I hope they do, and I'm excited to see them do with this rivalry.
What's that?
I'm excited to see at one point James Ellsworth getting let's say Backlash for whatever reason, they have a 6-woman tag match, and Charlotte's getting starting to stand up, and James Ellsworth gets in the ring and starts getting all excited and goes to hit Charlotte with no chin music, and Charlotte catches it and just starts shaking her head at him, and he's like, no, and knocks him down and puts him in the figure 8. That's something I'd like to see out of this whole thing.
Okay. Be cool. And then we moved on to Dolph Ziggler versus Sin Cara, which is basically Dolph Ziggler needs somebody to beat up, so that way he looks like he stands a remote chance against Shinsuke Nakamura at Backlash.
Yeah, but Sin Cara did pretty good in that match, too.
Yeah, he did.
More stuff than I thought they would.
They made him look like he can actually, battle and compete, like he's an actual superstar instead of just some guy to throw on to job to people, which was cool. And his new gear was cool. Yeah, I really liked his new gear. It was really interesting. I don't like it
as much as I like Kalisto's new gear, but it's pretty good.
Kalisto's new gear is godly. His was cool.
Yeah.
And then we had the United States Championship match of Jericho versus Owens, and I guess Jericho really is going off into the sunset because Jericho lost
and got
destroyed, which looked it was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal and good, and it's cool because it makes Kevin Owens look like a legitimate threat. And over the last month, almost pretty much for a while now, we've lost that intimidation factor of Kevin Owens, where he just seems like he's a guy who, by hook or by crook, he will win, and will just kind of be a coward. But through this. And pretty much since what you call it, what was the friendship thing called again?
Festival of Friendship.
That he still has that mean nasty side, and he showed it again tonight. And he just beat the living crap out of Jericho after he won the match.
That's one thing that I'm really liking about this is they're starting to bring his personality more towards what it was when he first moved, came into NXT and moved from NXT to WWE of just he's gonna do whatever it takes and just beat up people.
And he will destroy people if that's what it takes to eliminate them from the equation. and win matches.
Exactly.
So Jericho's going to go off into the sunset. He was on SmackDown Live roster for like one day.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like, I don't want to complain about it, even though it's a little weird, because it gives people the idea now whenever situations like that will happen with guys whose contracts are like expiring or like veterans who are going to be leaving and go off and do other things. Like, just because they're having that title match at that pay-per-view does not mean that they're going to lose that match. They might win and then hold it for another week or two. So it leaves that era
or
that
3 days.
it still leaves that aura of mystery and uncertainty to a pay-per-view match involving those guys.
The one thing that does bother me a little bit with it, though, is the fact that it's another issue once again of, Owens could have retained the title and his, reign would have continued longer and he would have had a longer title reign to go in the books. And now he just has another title reign that's added to the books. That's literally, he lost the title for 2 days and then got the title back. And that's just one thing that bothers you. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they did that, but at the same time, to me, it's a matter of, well, now you've got random 2 title reigns on Jericho, random 2 title two-time champion with Owens as well, but you could have just had one on each and had Owens' reign extend longer so it looks better in the records books of him holding the title for longer. But it continues the storyline, which is good. It's just I wish there was some other way of doing it. Who knows? Like maybe Owens had gotten disqualified in the match, kind of like what they did with Neville, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see where they go from there with this whole thing.
Yes. And John Cena has beaten Brock Lesnar in the last man standing match.
Yeah.
So we are down to just the title matches as we switch over to video game news from wrestling. We move from the grapples to the joysticks.
Mm-hmm. Both of which, something that's very key in both wrestling and video games. Joint manipulation.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, just look at I just got to see it this week. I'm just going to bring it up quickly. That's something that happened a lot in since I just recently saw it, the United Kingdom Championship match between Tyler Bate and Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, it was really good,
It was really good, and that used a lot of
I forgot, we didn't go over NXT. We need to go over NXT really quick.
Yeah, I could go over it quick.
So, let's see. I'm trying to remember what happened. NXT this week was, let's make tag teams look good. Because the first 2 matches was Sanity just beating up some dudes.
Well, Killian Dane versus Danny Burch, who was in the United Kingdom, who's been a member of NXT, but was also in the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, which was a decent match. And then you had Heavy Machinery against 2 local competitors, basically.
Yeah, and of course they beat the hell out of people, and they staked their claim to the NXT tag team titles, which I think they're the ones who are going to beat Authors of Pain. I don't think it's going to be DIY, but DIY said they still have a title match.
I don't think it's going to be DIY.
Unless you think DIY is going to... What, do you think it's going to be TM61?
I think TM61, when they come back, are going to be the ones to beat them. I've been thinking that for a while.
If you ask me, I think this is what I see happening. Either DIY is going to win and Heavy Machinery is going to turn heel, or Authors of Pain are gonna beat DIY. DIY will move up to the main roster, or just do other things in NXT. Then Heavy Machinery will beat Authors of Pain, and then TM61 will come back and potentially the next long rivalry or 2 top teams that we'll have battling one another will probably be Heavy Machinery turning heel and battling TM61.
I mean, the way I see it, I like Heavy Machinery, but they haven't been around that long, and honestly, while they're good, they don't have the look and everything of someone that are going to be top contenders, and I feel like they're going to be... What I think it's going to be is DIY is going to face the Authors of Pain, lose. Then Heavy Machinery is going to come in, face Authors of Pain. Authors of Pain are going to take him out and be like, wow, if not even those big guys could beat him, who's going to be able to beat these guys? And then have TM61 come in and eventually beat them for the titles.
Maybe, but just through traditional booking, I feel like who can beat 2 monsters but 2 other monsters? Two other massive dudes who have a really kind of lame finisher.
But I mean, we've seen before where you have two monsters try to defeat two monsters and it not really work out.
How?
And this isn't really monsters versus monsters, but an example is, you had the whole thing with the Shield going around running rampant on everyone. They beat the Whites and everything, and then they brought in three of the biggest names, three people who are probably going to be first ballot Hall of Famers come in and face them who are a known team. But I'm just saying, like, we've seen it before where it's, all right, these guys are monsters are going to beat them. But
that's an entirely different situation, though. That's three legends reforming up their old group in order to give three youngsters a rub and make them look good.
But I'm saying at the same time, it's a matter of heavy machinery. All they've done, like, the only matches that they've had is they lost to, I think it was, like, Aries and
It's not like
Strong.
they're going to challenge for the titles this month. This month, DIY is going to go up against them, and then they're probably going to battle DIY for the number one contendership. Like, this is something that's going to slow build for another, 4, 5, 6 months. And in NXT, a team can be made in 4, 5, 6 months' time if you put them on TV every other week.
I don't know. I just feel like they're not going to... Like I said, I feel like they're a good tag team, but I feel like it's going to be similar to Enzo and Cass, how they never actually won the titles.
No, I can tell from the way that they're building heavy machinery, they've got big plans for them. That they're going to throw those titles on them once they're ready.
I don't think so.
I would be willing to put money on that.
All right, we'll talk about that after. Just because of the fact, like I said, they've been around for a good amount of time. Their first match, they lost, and then all they've been doing is facing jobbers, and it's
called building them up.
Just this week, they finally got entrance music and stuff.
Yeah,
and I understand it's building them up, but I'm saying the way that they're built up and their look and everything.
The problem with with what you're thinking right now is you're looking at them right now in this moment, this week, and saying they're not going to win the NXT Championship. Of course, they're not going to win the NXT Tag Team Championships this week.
I know they're not going to win this week.
You give them an entrance now.
Let me put it to you this way.
You give them an entrance now, and through the rest of May, you give them another match or two with jobbers. They've already exchanged words with DIY. So then you put them in with DIY. You give them a program with DIY for about a month or two. DIY makes them look like gold, and after about a month or two of feuding with a former champion and defeating them, after about a month or two of getting themselves ready, then they're ready to move on to the title picture.
Let me explain it this way. At this point, as to where they are as a tag team, you compare them to other tag teams in NXT. When I saw the Revival at this point, when I saw Blake and Murphy at this point, when I know it might sound weird about Blake and Murphy, but I really like them. When I saw DIY at this point in being a tag team, I looked at them and said, they're definitely going to be at least challenging, if not winning the tag titles at some point, probably in the near future. At this point, I'm not really seeing that with these guys. And like I said, I'm seeing them more as a team where they'll be there, they'll do a lot of stuff, they'll do a lot of damage, but I don't think they're going to be brought up to that level.
I think they're two big guys who have chemistry with one another, and they're starting to book them just like they booked Authors of Pain. Except they're the face version and not the heel version.
They're booking
and they don't
similar,
need a mouthpiece.
But they also have the personalities of what basically the Hype Bros were with how they interact with each other. Enzo and Cass. And those are two tag teams that, while they're good, they never won the tag titles.
But Dennis, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder never called out the number one contenders.
Yeah, they did.
Not the way that Heavy Machinery has.
They didn't even call out the number one contenders. All they did is they called out Authors of Pain saying that they want a title shot, and then DIY said, oh, well, they may want that, but if anyone's going to get a shot at the titles, it's going to be us. They didn't mention DIY at all. All they mentioned was, we're hungry and we want a shot at the titles.
Yeah, well, Mojo, as far as I remember, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder never outwardly in the middle of the ring said, we're going to win the tag team championships. They might have mentioned it backstage, but as far as I remember, it was just stuff like little things and stuff. And you don't make and Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder were never put up against jobbers to be made to look good.
Yeah, they were.
Mojo Rawley was as a single star.
When they first started as a tag team, they were thrown up against local competitors and beating them.
Well, I honestly...
It's the same formula they use with all of their tag teams. But, like I said, could they win? It's possible. I just personally don't think that's going to happen.
All right. Well, we'll have to agree to
disagree.
Yeah, we'll have to agree to disagree for now. We'll move on to the next thing in NXT. They had Kenta battle Kona.
Hideo Itami versus Kona Reeves?
Hideo Itami faced off against Kona Reeves, and that was pretty much as expected. Kona got a little bit of offense in, which is good for him because it shows that his character's developing and he's becoming better. But then he reached the point where he just flat out pissed Hideo off, and Hideo's like, okay, now I'm going to go into beast mode and just beat the living crap out of Kona Reeves.
Yeah.
And then hit the GTS and won. Which was cool. Did what it did. And then we had the Battle Royal for the number one contendership of the women's division. And it ended coming down to Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, and Ember Moon. And then Asuka just came out and cleared them all. Just beat the hell out of all of them to kind of heal it up. And William Regal came out and be like, I ain't going to do it like that. There's 3 women in the ring. It's going to be a fatal 4-way at TakeOver.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I thought they were going to have Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross do their own thing, but I guess they're going to tie that into the Ember Moon and Asuka thing. So I guess that's a stalling tactic maybe. So that way you can give Asuka a win over maybe one of those two. Because maybe those two are battling and they cost one another the chance by letting Asuka pin one of them. And then you can do Ember... Asuka 2 at TakeOver Brooklyn 3.
Or it could be that Ember wins the title, and it's partially because of the fact that there are these other people in this match that she wins the title, and then their next match is like a blow-off match with Asuka having her rematch for the title.
I don't think so because it's all about because with Ember, with the story right now they're doing, it's all about the chase. And the capitalization on the chase will be cheapened if she wins it in a fatal 4-way match. And this Taylor
that wasn't the case with Sasha Banks.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this also gives Asuka a reason to develop her heel character more by stealing a win from Ember Moon by pinning and covering one of the other people.
True. I'm saying it's all possible.
But it was interesting. So yeah. We now know 3 matches that are going to be happening at TakeOver. Mm-hmm. It's going to be DIY versus Authors of Pain, Rude versus Atami, and then the Fatal 4 match.
I don't think.
I think it was announced. I think.
From what I remember, the only matches that were announced were the title match for the women's title, and then they said that next week they're going to do Atami versus Roderick Strong, and the winner of that will challenge Bobby Roode for the title.
Yeah, but you know it's going to be Atami anyway.
Yeah, you know it's going to be Atami, but they're also trying to build up
Roderick Strong.
So
did they do part 2 of Roderick Strong this week?
Yes, they did.
How was that? Because I missed that.
It was very good. It was a lot of talking about him and his family growing up, or not really growing up, but like him and his wife and their new child and everything, and how things are. He has been training for a while, and he feels like he's now finally ready to be in the WWE and NXT, and that he's doing all this now not for himself but for his family.
Nice. That's cool. It's good because it's giving Roderick Strong character, which he desperately needs, because he's a great wrestler. He just had no character before in NXT. And I think him and Atami, that match is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Really good. But I think Atami's going to win. We're going to get Atami versus Bobby Roode, so it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. AJ Styles just successfully retained his WWE World Heavyweight Championship, by the way.
Oh, wow. So we got one match left in Extreme Rules.
Yep.
Okay. So now I'll let you... we'll transition into video games. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get to the main event of Extreme Rules. Well, the second main event. Mm-hmm. The Universal title match. First story in video games is, in case people don't know, there is a Video Game Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there is, and this is the 3rd year of it.
Yep, it exists in Rochester, New York. Current games that are in the Hall of Fame, including but are not limited to Super Mario Bros., Tetris, Pong, Doom, World of Warcraft, and quite a few others. I think Pac-Man's in there as well.
Yeah, Pac-Man is.
But this week, the 2017 Hall of Fame inductions were conducted, and the games that got in were Halo Combat Evolved, so the original Halo, Donkey Kong, Pokemon Red and Green, which are the original Japanese versions. It was Red and Blue in America, and Street Fighter 2. Games that missed out were Final Fantasy VII, which I'm surprised by, but I'm sure that's only a matter of time type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Solitaire.
Yeah, they actually advertised it in the thing as Microsoft Windows Solitaire.
Yeah, which is really weird.
It's one of the first
but it
PC
makes
games.
sense because it's a game, and it was one of the PC games, and it was standard with everybody's PC, and everybody played it when they were younger.
Exactly.
Back in those days. Mortal Kombat, which I guess they didn't want Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter going in at the same time. That's another one that I think is a matter of time. Myst, which was like the biggest thing like to happen in video games when it came out, even though it was just, there was no combat, no like, wrong scene. It was just you walking around exploring an island, but I mean, like, I feel like that will eventually happen, but I think it's too soon. I think that's one where...
I'm pretty sure like all of these games will eventually get in, just not yet.
Yeah, well, Resident Evil, yeah, that's also a matter of time. Portal. Tomb Raider is also a matter of time. Portal, I think it's too soon for Portal.
Too soon, but a matter of time.
Oh, yeah, but I think Portal is like probably another 5-10 years away from being inducted, if you ask me.
Yeah, probably. Then again, you got Doom and World of Warcraft in there.
Wii Sports, which from a cultural standpoint and the impact that the Wii, and by proxy Wii Sports as being the pack-in game for the Wii, had on the industry... that will eventually, I think, get in, even though I feel like that's the...
These are all games that I'm sure will eventually get in, just not yet.
But, yeah, it's cool.
One that I was most upset about of those is I personally would have preferred to see Mortal Kombat in instead of Street Fighter, but that's just because I'm more of a Mortal Kombat player than a Street Fighter
I think it's much more fitting for Street Fighter 2 to be in it, because Street Fighter, as a franchise... has resonated with the fighting game community, and fighting game esports community.
I can agree
so
with you
much
on that.
more than Mortal Kombat.
I personally prefer Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter, which is why I thought that.
Yeah,
but I find it hilarious personally. I know you're probably upset about it that Final Fantasy VII didn't make it because of the fact that I liked Final Fantasy VII, but it's not my favorite Final Fantasy.
I really liked Final Fantasy VII, and the reason why it's going to get in the Hall of Fame eventually is because it is the most recognizable Final Fantasy, and it is what made so many people get into Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy wouldn't be the brand it is right now if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VI may have been the best Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VIII and X may have been great. Final Fantasy 15 may have been really good that just came out this year. And Final Fantasy 14 may be a great MMO, but Final Fantasy 7 is the one that you can point to and be like, that is when Final Fantasy exploded.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the one that's nominated for the Hall of Fame. And I don't think, and I'm surprised it didn't get in this year. Maybe they didn't want to add another game to what they already had, because that's 4 or 5 if you count Red and Green as separate games.
Yeah.
But, that's, what you call it? That is...
I prefer to see Suikoden on that ballot anyway.
Yeah, well, Suikoden's never getting in the Hall of Fame. But it's a thing where, like, I don't think it happened this year, but I think it's going to happen next year for sure.
One thing I'll point out quickly, because I don't know if we haven't talked about this on here. I think you may have mentioned it before when you were on Up, Up, Down, Down and everything. We both are big fans of the Suikoden games in general.
Yep.
Suikodens 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all currently up on the PlayStation Network for you to buy and play. Yeah.
I
have Suikoden 1 and 2 on my Vita.
That's funny because 5 is the only one that I don't own a copy of. I lent it to one of our friends, to Ryan, to play, and he never returned it because I thought because he was still playing it last talked to him, and I haven't talked to him in a couple of years now, so
yeah,
I need a copy of Suikoden 5. 1 through 4 I still have, and Tactics. I never beat Tactics though.
Well, I'm sure that's gonna eventually come out. Hopefully Konami gets their heads out of their butts and gets to work on more Suikoden, but I don't think they're doing anything with any games.
Konami's said that they're pretty much done with making console games. Metal
so
Gear
dumb.
Solid is the only franchise they're going to invest in when it comes to console stuff. Aside from that, they're pretty much done. So basically, in order for Suikoden, the franchise to continue and have new life, is if Konami decided to sell the rights and somebody bought them and decided to make a new game, which I don't think is ever going to happen.
Probably not.
Then moving on to news about Minecraft. I'll actually let you take over conversation because I'm about to get this main event underway.
So Minecraft has released a new feature with their educational edition of the game that allows players to control a robot in the game via coding. So it's a way to get people to start learning how to code while playing a game, which is a very neat feature. Mm-hmm. Apparently you could code it to do things like build walls, collect resources, things like that. And you could use many different forms of coding. You don't have to just stick with one. Like, you could use JavaScript and stuff if you want in order to do this. So it's a very interesting new feature that they're adding to this game. Mm-hmm. And seeing as how coding is one of the most desired jobs of what people are looking for is people who could code. It's a very good skill to learn.
And it's a very cool way of... Because most people, when they want to learn how to code, like... Most primary and secondary schools do not have anything regarding like coding or computer science stuff like that. That's normally like college level stuff.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this is that it gets people and kids to start to learn about coding. So that way, if they want to become developers for video games and stuff like that, they can start learning earlier and not just be thrown all of this really advanced learning stuff at college.
Yeah, they could get a little bit of a heads up. What is Roman doing?
I do not know.
Jesus. Yeah, that's a neat little thing with Minecraft. Mm-hmm. Next thing, which I found really interesting that's happened, is Steam has made some changes to its gifting service.
Yes.
Where now they are restricting the returns and everything of gifts, and gifts you're able to give out by difference in price. So, for example, let's say you buy a game in, like, let's say, what the heck, Romania, where it's like $10 or something like that, and then try to gift it to someone who lives in Australia, where that same game is not on any kind of sale or anything and is going on sale for like $90, you won't be able to do that anymore. In which part of the reason they're doing that is because there are companies out there, resellers, who will buy these games and then quote-unquote gift them to other people and sell them these games, so that way they could rake in all the money while letting Steam and them do all the work.
Yeah. So it's good for them from a business perspective. It kind of sucks for people who have friends in other countries and they want to buy them a game as a gift and try to save them a little bit of money. Now they really can't.
Well, I mean, one other thing I found out, which I thought was interesting, I didn't know about before, I guess with laws or whatever going on in Australia, apparently in Australia, the average price of a game is roughly around $90, I guess,
which
in
is
their
ridiculous.
money. And so a lot of people are upset because now it is screwing over these resellers, which is kind of screwing them over, because instead of getting a game for, like, let's say, $60 as you would in the United States, they have to pay $30 more, and they don't have the option of going the cheaper route anymore. But then again, I feel like that while that sucks for them, I mean, it screws over the company if you let these resellers keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these people are just basically coming in, doing minimal work of just, oh, well, let's buy and resell this to someone else and making 90% profit off of it. And that's not fair to the people who make the games.
Yeah, I think it's fair to the people who make the games, and it's fair to Steam to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't really have a problem with it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, sucks for you guys in Australian stuff. I'm sorry that it's so expensive for you, but I mean, these companies can't keep making games if they're not making money. And if people are getting screwed over in this kind of a way, you can't expect them to stay open forever. But them's the breaks.
Yes, indeed.
And then after that, we've got some different news from E3. A good amount of stuff starting to come up. Starting with the fact that Sony has announced...
E3 is coming.
Yeah, E3 is coming, and Sony has announced their time slot for their press conference, which is the same that they usually do, which is late at night. Well, not necessarily late at night, but at night on what's it called? Monday night, which will be
typical time slot 6 p.m. Pacific, which is where it's happening in LA, or 9 p.m. Eastern time
on Monday, June 12th.
Yep, always on the Monday. That's how they do their thing.
Yeah, but one other thing that I found out through this is that Microsoft has actually switched up.
Yeah, they're going to Sunday now instead of Monday, and and that dips into like our next story.
Yeah, the next story where the PC game show is going to be taking Microsoft's usual time slot on Monday morning.
Yep.
Which would be interesting, and I believe it's being hosted this year by Intel instead of NVIDIA, which is usually who has hosted it the last 2 years. It's been switched up this year, apparently. Ooh, nice reversal, Shinsuke.
But another reversal by
Roman. And then we've also got the E3 Coliseum will be returning this year with panels and presentations from a lot of different major developers, including like Sony and Microsoft. People like that. Bethesda, I believe, is involved. I believe Ubisoft is involved. So it always bothers me that it's Ubisoft and not Ubisoft or anything. I don't know. It's weird.
If I can just backtrack over to the PC gaming thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's interesting that they're taking a primetime spot in Microsoft's spot, because most people, the PC gaming show normally will happen like after Sony's thing on Monday or whatever, or whatnot, or it would happen on Tuesday, and by that point people are like, nobody cares, it's PC gaming, meh. But like now, ooh, damn,
crazy.
Now that it's in more of a spotlight position, and with the rise in like, especially I feel like it's happened a lot more over the last year. Like I feel like PC gaming's been on the rise. Especially over the last year, especially on Twitch with streaming and everything.
Yeah, Twitch, YouTube.
And I feel like now the PC game show actually maybe has a chance to be as legitimate as the other press conferences now.
Yeah, might have a chance. We'll see how that works out for them. Hopefully well. Any predictions as to things we're going to be seeing at E3 this year? Possibly new things?
Not yet. I think we can do an E3 prediction show that'll go light on the wrestling as we get closer to the date. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head as far as PC gaming goes. Because most of the exclusives and big announcements happen at the console press conferences.
I don't think it's going to be necessarily on the PC. I think that we're probably going to hear Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. We might be hearing some... maybe some hardware stuff, the PC thing. We'll be hearing like more info on Project Scorpion or Scorpio.
Yeah.
We'll likely hear Red Dead information from somebody. Probably Sony if I was to bet.
Probably things like Left 4 Dead 2 as well.
I mean Left 4 Dead 3?
Or not Left 4 Dead. I meant Last of Us 2. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, Last of Us 2. We'll probably get more of.
Hopefully
I expect.
Left 4 Dead 3 though.
I heard people saying that there's a good chance that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds might get announced by Sony or Microsoft to be coming to their console or coming to both consoles.
That'd be neat.
So that would be a thing.
Yeah. But guess we'll see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the Coliseum thing. Mm-hmm. It sounds cool. And apparently this isn't the first time it's happening, but I don't know why. But when I hear Coliseum, I think esports.
Yeah, same here.
And like
they're gonna have
weird.
a little bit of a show in that though.
Yeah, but it's
about esports.
Yeah, but it's like really weird that like there is there's a thing called the E3 Coliseum, and it's not about esports. It's mostly just like panels and mostly like behind the scenes developer stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boom! Big sit out powerbomb.
But yeah, E3's starting to announce stuff. Good. Next things to talk about: Uprising
Overwatch stuff.
They ended the event early, in which I was pissed about that because I was like, "Oh, I'll have a chance to, get the little bit of extra experience I need to get another loot crate or loot box and potentially get that Blackwatch McCree, and then if I don't get it, maybe I could buy it." And I went to go on, and it was over. But then they realized the issue and they extended it, and I ended up being able to do those things the next day, thankfully.
Yeah, it was actually because of the extension. I didn't realize when the extension was, but it was because of the extension that I was actually able to get my Blackwatch McCree skin, which I wasn't able to purchase because or I wasn't able to get in loot boxes because my loot box luck was really crappy during this event. I didn't get like a single purple. I just got all I got was icons and like voice lines, and that was like it. So, but I was eventually able to eventually buy the Black Watch McCree skin because I had 3,000 gold coins, and that was the one that I really wanted. I really wanted Genji too, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick McCree because I play McCree more, and I'm a much better McCree than I am a Genji.
Yeah. Well, I know, thankfully for myself, I got Bastion and Genji in loot boxes, so I ended up purchasing the McCree. But, yeah, the event ended early. People were upset. They brought it back, and it's over now. But the last thing to talk about, which I had just put in when I found out about it, the rumors going on about a possible leak from Blizzard about the next 3 characters for Overwatch. Yeah, in which the first one that they, the person who leaked it was a Reddit user who said that they work for Blizzard as part of the Overwatch team. And they said that the next character that is going to be released is going to be the much anticipated Doomfist, which I'm excited about. And they said that to expect him in not months, but in days.
Yeah, which based on what was the other information in that what you call it, that leak, it means that he will probably get revealed. I'm getting so sick of Shinsuke Nakamura not going through this goddamn table. I swear to God.
Because you've got no stamina, so why don't
I know,
you try something else?
Well, that's because I'm trying to do reversals, and every time I reverse, it uses up so much damn stamina that I don't have enough stamina to do the move after the fact.
Let me rephrase that. Why don't you try not putting him through that table?
No, I'm gonna put him through this table because we need a match that's gonna put somebody through this table. I'm giving the people what they want.
We've already had
here on Raw.
People went through a table.
Well, they're doing it again. An announce table. God damn it! I don't like this. Don't like this at all.
Well, I think this match is just about over.
Anyway,
but yeah, a lot of people thinking that it might come up around the fact that, around the time of May 24th, which is going to be the 1-year anniversary of Overwatch.
My birthday.
Apparently, yep, they're doing an event for that rumor. The rumor is that they're going to be doing an event for that. So who knows? It might be a Doomfist themed event, and have him introduced.
Yes.
They also mentioned that there is going to be a character named, what was it again? Bria, in which I don't really remember too much about the character other than the fact that it's currently in testing and will be the smallest character in Overwatch. And that the third character would be a character called Ivan, but not spelled the way Ivan normally is, of Ivon. Or Ivan, but it will be spelled Ivon, will be the second Russian character in the game, and that he's still in concept stages, but the idea is that he'll have a bunch of swarm bots and be a defensive character somewhere in between, like Torbjorn and Symmetra. And that his ultimate will have something to do with him getting more swarm bots.
Sounds kind of like a hero from Big Hero 6. With all the nanobots, or the villain from Big Hero 6 who used all the nanobots.
Kind of, yeah. Who is voiced by Alan Tudyk. Well,
really?
The villain wasn't, but one of the characters in that was.
I'm getting Shinsuke Nakamura is reversing everything I do, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think this match is just about over.
I hope so. I just want to do one goddamn thing, and he's not letting me do it. So you know what? You're gonna be a pain in the ass, Shinsuke? Fine, be a pain in the ass.
Already got a 5-star match going on here. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this whole Doomfist thing. Hopefully that's the truth and that Doomfist is actually coming. Because I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to see Doomfist show up in the game, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Yes, hopefully voiced by Terry Crews.
Yeah, I know one thing that this guy said is that he's going to be designed to go up against people specifically like Reinhardt and Roadhog, so it seems like he's going to mostly for busting up tanks, which will be neat.
Was it going up against them or designed to be like that? I thought I heard he was going to be like Reinhardt and Roadhog.
I'm pretty sure it was that he was going to be good against them, but I'll bring up the article that I found it on right now and double check.
Yes.
See if my phone actually wants to work. This is for great audio quality, right?
What? Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. Meanwhile, for those of you who are watching or not listening, I am relentlessly beating the crap out of Shinsuke Nakamura as Roman Reigns because I was trying to do this in a timely fashion, and Shinsuke Nakamura keeps reversing everything I do, so I'm just going to beat him until he just basically can't reverse anything anymore. And also to charge up Roman's signature.
The new information claims that the highly anticipated character Doomfist will be coming in, quote, days, not months, end quote, and will act as a Reinhardt and Roadhog counter.
Counter. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's weird because Reinhardt and Roadhog are two very different people. Two very different characters.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing he might be, like, a little bit of, like, a bigger guy that has some shots that, like, deal a good amount of damage to kind of, like, back them off. Like, kind of break through Reinhardt's shield and take down Roadhog's
and negate Roadhog's healing ability. And stuff like that.
So, it's interesting. I hope that happens. The person, the 4chan user goes by the name of QA Austin Autist, who allegedly works for the Overwatch developer. So... hopefully that turns out to be true, at least as far as Doomfist goes, and we'll get to play him sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. And then did you talk about the description of what Ivory is like, about what he looks like and everything?
Ivan?
Yeah, Ivan.
Yeah, there's Bria and Ivan. With Bria, it says that she's in testing, aiming for a third quarter 2017 release. Allegedly one of the smallest members of the game's cast, playstyle that will allow the hero to lock off certain sections of maps to assist her team. So that would be good in things like payloads and things like that, where you could block off certain areas until your team could get there to help. Or control maps as well. And then Ivan, who I mentioned a little bit, he's still in the early concept stages. And that he would be a tall, lanky, elderly man wearing a close-fitted business suit with red accents. And that he would be part of the defense category, and that his abilities would include being able to summon a weak swarming bots and control them at will, and that his ultimate ability would double the amount of robots that he controls. And that he would be somewhere in between Torbjorn and the recently reworked Symmetra in usability.
So he's basically going to create like lots of little things that can destroy people.
Seems like it, yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that stuff. I'm especially excited for Doomfist. I'm really hoping that it's Terry Crews doing the voice.
Me too.
But we'll have to see what he's like, what his abilities will be. And like I said, hopefully it's true that he's coming like within this month.
Yes, hopefully for the event. What do you think the event will possibly be for
if I had to guess, since a lot of people were
1 year anniversary.
Since people were very happy with this Uprising event, and they've been hearing that they want to hear that people want to hear more about the story of Overwatch in the game, it wouldn't surprise me if it was some event based on Doomfist causing some kind of havoc in Numbani and
like the return of Doomfist.
Yeah, the return of Doomfist, and Orisa's trying to stop him or something, where you have an Overwatch team that centers around her trying to stop Doomfist and maybe members of Talon or something.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens with it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, there we go. Spear. The second spear as Shinsuke staggered up. Is that going to be it? Look at... Wow, Shinsuke is bleeding like crazy right now. God damn.
Actually, I just want to mention, when I was on my way to work yesterday, I actually passed someone wearing a shirt, I only saw the back of it, of Stone Cold with a bloody face, and it said something about getting blood from a stone.
Good lord.
Yeah. This match is taking a while.
Well, Shinsuke Nakamura just refuses to die right now. He has taken 2 spears and used resiliency twice, and he keeps and every time he has a reversal, it seems like he is able to use that reversal. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, he's a good, strong style fighting boy.
Yeah, well, strong style's gonna get sledgehammered to death right now. That's what's happening.
Oh, man.
All right. Here we go. Roman looking to finish it off. Superman punch. Yeah, avoid that. I'm just kidding.
Is that his new version of his phrase instead of
believe that? It's like, yeah, avoid that. Oh my god. I didn't know that was possible. Shinsuke's blood is spread to his chest.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't know you could bleed that much in this game.
I've done that several times in this game.
I've never been able to do that before.
Yep.
I've made people bleed to where their face is really bloody, but not so bad that it gets on their chest. Jesus.
Well, part of the reason that I know about that is because, when I personally play my career myself, you've got my character.
Are you freaking kidding me right now? What is this? Like, he didn't even use resiliency there. Like, he's already used resiliency twice. Why is he still kicking out? He's in dark red. Do I have to beat him until he's purple?
You never know. But when I've played my career, the character that I play as does mostly offense to the head, and the finisher that I use is the Code Breaker. And there have been several matches where I just feel like beating on someone, basically, and I've gotten the head to, like, purple and gotten them bleeding that badly and stuff, so.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's something I've not played in a while is my career. I wonder what they're going to do with the next W2K17 game, or 2K game in general.
I have no idea. God damn it, not enough stamina. Of course, when he doesn't have any reversals to reverse anything I've got.
You need more power.
I've got the power now. Here we go.
I need more
Don't you dare reverse this, you son of a bitch! What the hell is going on? Oh, crap.
King shot.
No!
Oh.
He thought he had that, and for some reason I can't move Roman Reigns. Why can't I move Roman Reigns? He wouldn't move around for some reason. Whatever. Picking him up. Boom! Spear. There we go. That's a fitting end to a match, though.
Okay, now people watching on the stream, watch his face as Shinsuke kicks out.
He kicks out, I swear to God. There we go. Holy hell, what a match that was. What a main event for our first pay-per-view on Universe Mode, huh?
Yeah. Felix asks, do we have a hand spinner? I actually do, don't you? I do have one of those fidget spinners, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's pretty neat.
Oh my God, that was frustrating, but what a match. Shinsuke Nakamura refused to say die, then finally went for the Kinshasa, dropped to a hold, gets up into a third spear, kicked out of 3 spears. That was a 4th spear, actually.
Yeah.
Bleeding all over the place.
Bleeding like
he reversed a spear.
That Shinsuke Nakamura, he's tougher than a $2 steak.
But we have a new Universal Champion, and he is the leader of the Roman Empire. Ooh!
No, thank you.
Roman Reigns.
Overall, we've got, 3 new champions. We've got new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, new Universal Champion, and new United States Champion.
Yes, we do.
So now, actually, it's kind of funny because the club was running SmackDown, and now it looks like Roman and his family are running WWE.
Yeah, right? All right, that's it for that show. And with the show... Payback or Extreme Rules finally wrapped up. We are going to call it a show here for ourselves. That has been episode 5 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. Yes. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, do not forget, if you can catch us live on Twitch. We normally stream every Friday. There might be some circumstances where we stream on a Saturday, but if that ever happens, be sure to check me out on Twitter at L_Murpho. I will tweet if there are any changes to when we stream live, and then the following day up on YouTube, and that same day that we go live on Twitch, you can also find us on SoundCloud and iTunes as well. And since it's on iTunes, I believe that means that it's anywhere podcasts can be found now.
I'm not entirely sure about that, but pretty much.
I think that's how that works. It might be how the Force works.
God.
See what I did? I tied it all together. That was in the intro. I was in the opening line. Boom! Boom! Podcasting. Podcasting right there for you. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You bring it all around like a loop. Ooh, yeah. Dig it.
So I hope all those listeners just loved that audio assault on their ears right there.
I apologize.
Come back next week for El Murpho to batter your ears even more.
Oh, we might be doing it from the hospital as Dennis gets his ears checked.
Yeah, it's not a slobber knocker, it's a wax knocker.
God. All right, guys. That's going to do it for episode 5. Until we see you again, take care. I have been El Murpho. He's been DMurph. Adios.
Peace.